Okay, 7 o'clock, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening.
Got the peanut gallery here. Peanut one, peanut two.
Okay, we certify a quorum of the board is present. We have Jack, Lenny, Elliot, and Michael. We are missing Tony tonight, but that is still constituted as a quorum of the board of directors. Certify that the meeting notice was posted in accordance with Florida state statutes 48 hours in advance, posted at both entrances and the pool. And we can move to pledge allegiance.
Okay. Christine?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everybody.
We have the approval of the previous meeting minutes. This month you have two, your August 19th and 27th.
Okay. I provided edits. Did anybody else provide any edits? Or do you have any edits for the minutes from both the emergency meeting and the August meeting? Okay, if not, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes as they stand.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, so for my manager's report, it was pretty much the sinkhole geotesting was done, your insurance claim was, filed. Diamond Solutions did start the repair back in August, they finished it in September. The CPA audit was sent to you, Lenny, on the 9th.
Right here.
And, I did provide you guys with a hurricane pre-approval letter from Yellowstone in the manager's report as well, along with their irrigation report and the proposal for the repairs on irrigation. I completed my inspections on the 7th and the 21st, and that concludes my manager's report. Gentlemen?
Okay. Lenny is up.
Okay. I think there's.
Mr. President, I just want you to know I'm recording for clarification. You didn't ask me that this time.
Okay, thank you.
And so, going through the financials, and so I wanted to start off by saying this financials were, for the most part, very clean this month. They did a good job. Things I'm gonna point out aren't things that are issues, but things that are deviations from the norm or one-time events. I have no corrections or anything like that, so I was pleased. So if we look at the operating account, it did dip down about $9,000. We did pay for some one-time events, and I'll go through those one-time events as we go through the expenses. Okay, if we move on to page 2, the first of those one-time events, we see on there the holiday decorations. We paid the first 50%, $5,890.50 towards the holiday decorations. I guess they'll be going up in November. We also paid $4,000, I believe, and then there's gonna be more to come towards the sinkhole repair. We paid $7,300 towards the sidewalk repairs, and I need to look at the detail and get the final invoices, because the sidewalk repair, some of it's going to be maintenance, which is the grinding, and some of it's gonna be capital, which is where we base the entire sections.
Right.
So to make sure we charge it to the appropriate places. We had a $520 charge for camera repair. And also we spent $3,200 on mulch for the playground area. It's all been refurbished. Those are all the several one-time expenses. I know there's a lot more to come on the sinkhole, but I'm sure you'll talk about the insurance claim. Hopefully we'll recoup the majority of those dollars associated with the sinkhole. The only other comment I have on the financials, I did get the report. The thing I'm disappointed about is, according to the letter, if he put the right date on it or not, I don't know, but it appears on the letter that he signed it April 27th, and I didn't get it till September. So either he fudged the dates, or I don't know what happened for all those months. And we were hit with, I think, $200 for filing late, which I think they should make good on, because they should have filed on time. So hopefully our management company can get with him about that late fee.
I'm already talking with him in regards to that.
And that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Yeah, if you can hear this, you can unmute your computer if nobody can hear anything.
It's plugged in.
What was it?
Stop sharing my screen. Must have muted when I got. All right, we're back on. Can you hear us?
Oh, I can't reply to
Oh,
that.
yes, okay.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
I do have a preliminary budget, but I know it's a separate part of the agenda, so I'll wait for that.
Okay. All right, well, thanks, Lynn.
For the board reports, the director is not here. Did you send any notes?
No.
Okay. Then we already went. Jack?
Nice to see you all again. The sidewalks in the community area, they're completely repaired. I looked at the work, when I got back from Europe, and it looks very, very good. We've solved the situation that posed long-standing security and irrigation risk in the common area to the people. Tennis and basketball court repairs are underway. I looked at the ongoing work yesterday, so far it looks pretty good. I'm going to look at it again tomorrow. The lines are gonna be repainted when all the surface repairs are completed. The tennis courts are being maintained, but, we're gonna put the pickleball lines so people can also play pickleball in that area. We're also looking at a suggestion raised by an owner at last month's meeting that the current basketball backboard should be replaced. And that's it.
Okay. Elliot?
We sent out the street lighting, survey. That was the, major thing for the last little bit here.
That is going into October 15th as you requested as well.
Yep. Thank you.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. Okay.
And we'll send out a notice to the community, just as a reminder to, make sure that they chime in.
Okay.
Okay, President's report. The insurance company sent out an adjuster, yesterday, 9/24, to assess the sinkhole situation. They will be sending out an engineer associated with them, to further assess the situation. Provided them with a copy of the geotesting bid invoice, as well as videos and pictures of the sinkhole. And they will report back with their findings. And, Eric did ask, can we walk back and look into this other community that's going in? And he asked me, did I think that, possibly caused the issue? And I said, well, there was no water, there wasn't a water main break, it wasn't irrigation, nothing like that. And, that whole side of the community, has been shaky since all of that construction started. So he took some pictures, we'll see if that goes anywhere. Yeah, at least that part of the process is rolling. Hopefully, the engineer will be out the first part of next week, and we can keep this progressing along. Claremont Public Works did ask when they can get their signage back that they've graciously loaned us for this period of time.
There's also two really long hoses back coming from the street through the common area behind the houses. And then there's a second hose that's been disconnected, but it's laying there all curled up.
Okay, I'll remind them they've got that stuff there. Yeah, we're good on all that, so that stuff can be taken. But, once we proceed forward, with the adjuster and the engineer as to what steps, what testing they want, additional testing they may wanna do, and start to get into hopefully remediation. But we'll probably have to contract with, a company to get signs out there. Because Claremont has to make sure that they've got stuff on hand in case something else happens within, the city.
So only that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
So we're gonna do additional testing only if the insurance company directs that they feel it's required.
If the engineer, yeah,
So if they request it, are they gonna pay for it?
well, if they request it, I'm thinking that what they're gonna do is they're gonna come back and they're gonna say, okay, yeah, it's definitely a sinkhole. I mean, you know, there's no question about that. And our insurance covers sinkholes. So I don't wanna say that we're gonna have them driving the process, but they're gonna be, advising us on what should be done. And then, you know, we'll have to make decisions as to whether certain things need to get done. One of the concerns, you know, that, came up is we found ourselves, you know, when FPI came back and said, okay, now we wanna do core, sampling, drilling. But the geohazards report seemed to indicate that everything was okay except for the sinkhole itself. It raised the question of, okay, if the association is gonna be paying for this, you know, we need to be careful. But we're gonna let the adjuster and his company tell us and the insurance company tell us what needs to be done, where it needs to be done. And then if we have any concerns, we can voice that with them.
No, that's great, Bill. I'm just asking that if the adjuster and their
Yep.
expert recommends something be done, that we just ask that to confirm that they're going to cover the bill.
I'll write that question down and get with Donna, our insurance agent, and get that question
I mean, I
answered.
think it's fair to assume that if they're directing or requesting that we get
Yes.
something done, that it's required and they should, you know, not just hold for it.
So our deductible is $2,500. So we shouldn't have to pay anything more than $2,500.
That's great.
So,
That's your insurance report.
and in this way, we're also making sure that, the folks that are smarter about this can certainly make those decisions as to what needs to be done, what testing needs to be done, what the remediation process should be. So if 3 months down the road, we have another problem, then,
Yeah, it's
They're
always
well
good to
aware.
get somebody who's an expert's direction, because we're obviously, none of us are experts in that, so.
Yep.
At least
smarter
I'm
than
not.
we used to be. Okay, and I spoke with, Nitty Sports, the contractor that's doing the, tennis and basketball courts. Last month, we had a homeowner that questioned, about pickleball net height compared to tennis courts. And so I spoke to, Nitty about, can we have an adjustable net that you can raise or lower depending on what sport you're playing? And the person that I talked to said that, there's a 2-inch difference between tennis courts and pickleball courts. So, she said what many places do that suffice both tennis and pickleball. They have a strap in the middle that you can just adjust down, which lowers the net. So, as we start to get that stuff installed, we'll take a look and see, okay, is this gonna work? Is this what we need? But we couldn't couldn't do some of what the homeowner had suggested, which was convert like maybe one of the tennis courts to 2 pickleball courts, because our community is built on
The
2
docs
tennis
say that
courts.
there's 2 tennis courts.
Yep. And that's it for the president's report.
Okay.
I'll send this to you.
And ARC,
I don't really have anything to report. Margaret and I are processing 2 outstanding requests, and, that's it for this one.
okay. Alright, and we can go on to old business, which is the Seco lights. You already just, you wanted to say anything else, Elliot, on the Seco light survey?
Not really.
Okay.
So the only thing that I'll add is, if we decide, if based on all the voting and everything, if we decide, that we're going to make some changes to what we have, SECO does have a buyout program. So we'll entertain that as well to find out what the costs are gonna be, what we're gonna end up with. One of my concerns is right now, they're structured so that as these high pressure sodium lights burn out, they're replacing them with LEDs, but they're also, any new builds are getting all LEDs. But they're taking high pressure sodiums from other communities and putting them in because they don't wanna commingle high pressure sodium and LED lights, on the same street.
Are the LEDs cheaper to run?
Yeah.
They're cheaper to run, they're more expensive to start with. So, yeah, and depending on what the survey tells us, you know, we'll work with SECO to see, okay, what do we do now? What else can we do to drop these, exorbitant costs?
Yeah, there's one thing I didn't think about that I do have a question, and it was brought up because of the conversation on tennis courts. So, obviously, it's a real thing. I personally think we should have the lights. I mean, it's a nice community. We don't want to devalue the appearance of the community, the
Mhm.
safety within the community.
Yep.
So I think we should have it as much as it stinks that the ways to go pay for it. But my concern is whichever it's voted, like the tennis courts, you said, the doc said there's 2 tennis courts. Did the docs address streetlights? Is there a requirement in there that we can't take them out because it's part of our docs that there are streetlights?
I'll have to look at it.
I think
see.
we need to check that. I don't think any of us thought about it, but the tennis court
Yeah.
conversation, you said, well, hey, we should validate, do we have a requirement according to the docs, or are we free to make adjustments?
Okay, no, it's a good point. Yeah, I'll do some research on that and try to figure out where we stand with that and what we might have to do.
Okay, next, item on the agenda is the towing contract. You guys all received what that towing contract was in the packet. It's just you fill out who can call in and, the times, so once you guys decide on the policy and that gets in place, and you vote on that, that is when we'll fill out that contract and send that in. But you first have to do the policy first.
We did that last month.
We have to do a policy first, they have to have the times and dates, and I have to have that.
We have a policy, and we agreed that we were keeping, that the policy was staying as is.
There is discussion of it being updated, isn't there?
Yeah, we had made, some changes to it, and now, Florida's laws, statutes say that, any new policies have to be provided to the community, at least 14 days in advance.
I thought
So-
we discussed it, we were leaving everything the way it was, and what changes are there? I thought you had some things that were highlighted, but we discussed them, we said, yes, let's just leave it the way it is.
Yeah, I don't think we.
I don't know, do you recollect?
Okay, I'll have to find it. We,
I'll let you know.
I don't think we,
It's in here what we agreed to, which is what's in there. Everything that's in here is in the, minutes, is what's in the current policy, and that's what we said, it would change, that it was just right the way it
I
was.
think you're changing the roaming though, if I'm not mistaken.
No, the roaming in there is from actually 12 to 6 or something like that, or 12 to 5, whatever it was.
12 to 5.
And we agreed to say, yeah, 12 to 5. Between midnight and 5, we said we'd leave it alone.
Yes, but you have to remember, you've never towed roaming, from my understanding,
Yeah, we have.
in the main streets.
We
Yes,
In the past.
But do you have a contract with that?
we had a contract with that same company
Yeah.
to do the roaming and do the towing.
yeah,
Mm,
so, there's nothing
They don't
in,
have that.
there's nothing in the existing policy from 2012 that talks about the time frame. It states all vehicles must be removed from the street between dusk until dawn. And we were going, so the policy is that,
Right,
but,
but the policy and contract are two different things. We're not changing the policy. The policy stays as is. Our direction to the towing company was gonna be between 12 and 5. That's not part of the policy.
And,
Okay.
but that is the difference then, so you guys have to vote on this regardless, this is a very old policy, so it needs to
But
be.
why would, if it hasn't changed, what difference does it make? It stands as is unless it's amended. And I don't think we're looking to amend it.
I tend to agree with, Lenny on this. I don't see what the change is, it's basically,
yep, so if that's the case, then that's a policy that already exists.
Okay.
And we're just going
and
to.
maybe the thing to do, if you wanna notify the residents, which is the owners, which is,
I think
Sure,
it's the-
again,
I think
Well-
it's the proper thing to do, is to notify the residents 14 days in advance, you send it out to them, you allow them to read it, and you give them that opportunity
I agree.
to read it, it is the proper thing to do.
No. Okay, what I'm saying is that, okay, policies always existed. The contract is the enforcement, now we're gonna start enforcement. We used to have enforcement, same exact way. And what I'm suggesting is that we're getting ready to do a year-end newsletter or something like that. Why don't we include that in the newsletter?
We're gonna include it, and then it'll be on the next month's agenda to make sure that it's done properly, because you haven't been doing it in how long? So it's still something that you are re-entering into it, you have to give the owners the opportunity to read it, see where it's at, and understand what's happening. It is just the proper thing to do.
fine, with the policies up, so the existing policies up in, on Vantica, right?
Yes.
It's there, so they can already look at it, right?
Correct, so you just wanna inform them with that 14-day notice to them, that that's what you guys are doing, you're going into
Well,
a contract with the towing policy.
can we inform them with a email blast?
You can't.
Okay, so why don't we just do an email blast and tell them that, of course, we can. And the car store's okay with the terms of what we wanna do, with what's in the minutes.
Oh, yeah, they'll do whatever we ask them to.
Okay, then let's send out the blast and let's get the contract going and let's make it happen.
Okay. So we'll still allow for that cushion so that everybody can be informed.
Yeah, I am.
Let them know, yeah.
We wanna do the right thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Just so we don't wanna put it off forever, it's been put off for too long already.
Okay, no, good. Excellent point, Lenny. Okay, and so we don't have to do anything with the contract, the towing contract, other than just fill it out and, the only thing we have to do is, identify the authorized agents.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, Jack and I would be the two. Does anybody else wanna be one of the agents? Or do we just list everybody?
You would just, yeah, I would list everybody and
Okay.
bring that back to me when you guys are ready.
Excellent. Okay, so that's what we'll do. We'll just put everybody on there. And
Right, and
we're not gonna be, we're setting this up so that, if cars are parked on the street, after dusk, and the towing company understands that, their window is between midnight and 5 AM. We're not going out and patrolling or anything.
Correct.
We're leaving this because the car towing company has no, interest in who they're towing or who they're not towing.
Exactly.
So-
It takes away you getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
It takes away somebody saying, well, you're just, picking on me.
Yep.
It's generic, everybody's treated the same, and the only one that we would call in on, because we're not telling them to do it automatically, is the parking lot, because it's overflow.
Yep.
If we have a problem, that's when we will call in.
Yep. Okay. That sounds good.
I have a question. Would there be exceptions for those times that there are holidays and people visiting, and say parties going on midnight?
It's already in the, policy, existing policy.
Okay.
Yep, Memorial Day weekend, 4th of July, Labor Day weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, in the period between Christmas Eve and New Year's Day.
Is that in the contract?
Yeah, we'll provide that to them.
We could give them our orders, what
Yep.
windows they're good for, and we'll tell them that it's midnight to 5, with the exception of these days.
Yes.
And only the streets, not the parking lot unless they call.
Okay. So next up is the pressure washing. So last month, we addressed this, and there were some questions about, the cost difference between the two, but the fall pressure washing is less expensive than the spring.
Yeah.
So we all agreed that we were good with, where that is now. So when we get to the point where we, make motions, we'll go ahead and motion for approval of this. Okay?
Lenny, it's your show.
I should.
Yep.
Okay.
New business?
That's what we're doing in form now. Okay. So, here's 2 copies. This is an email this out ahead of time to all the board members to review. I haven't received any comments back. But I've gone through, and based on our current trends and information we know that isn't changed at a point in time, or what's changed already and annualizes, I came up with what our projected expenses are for calendar year 26. And fortunately, it is a significant increase year over year. We're currently paying $119 a month, and this would increase it to $144 a month, $25 a month increase. But it takes consideration all of the major increases. It adds a little more money to the accrual for the road resurfacing. It takes care of the current expense level for the lights. It takes care of the change for the property maintenance, and well, it's gone through here. It's all here side by side. So if there's questions or opinions, we can discuss each line item. But this is my preliminary shot. If everybody's good with that, then we can go. If there's any requested changes, I can amend it and send it out if we're all in agreement.
So,
I mean, and it's unfortunate that we have to do that kind of increase, but, I mean, it's a reality. We have to have a balanced budget, and I feel good that for many years, we went years at a time with no increases at all, so similarly, the things do catch up with you.
It all balances out.
Yeah, and it's not because we've spent, irresponsibly or anything like that, and utility companies we have no control over.
Reserves.
So I increased the reserve slightly, all towards the roads.
Okay. And we're planning on painting come January, February?
Yeah, that'd be an operating expense, yes.
Okay,
And on the reserves, so that the increase on the roads wasn't entirely affected, there's a couple of areas I thought we were over accrued, and that we could take a little back, so I reduced the tennis court accrual slightly, and the entry gate accrual slightly.
Okay.
To try and offset it,
It's the pool resurfacing.
and the pool resurfacing, yes. So, in here, you see the expense, on the front, you'll see the actual reserve on the financial statement. You'll see the actual reserves, and you can see we have a significant reserve for some of these items. So like on the tennis courts, tennis courts, we've got $35,000 in reserve, and even after we pay for this time, we're gonna have a significant amount left over in a several-year life with the new resurfacing. So there's room to adjust on those types of items. So wherever I could look at the expense and we were, slightly over, I did reduce what I could on each line item. You'll see several places where there are reductions. Trying to offset the increases.
no, that's good. So we're planning on the painting in January, February timeframe. That's an operating expense.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
that'll come out of that.
Right, so but the question is, yes, that's a project that we need to do, and it's been on the books for a while.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the budget goes, are there any questions about the budget and line items, or what I have in here that recommended changes, or things that you think we missed that we need to add, or?
I don't have anything. It pretty much captures what we've been seeing.
No, I think you're right. This is an old community, 21 years old, so we're showing its age. And we've had to address, or are addressing now, a number of items.
Yeah, over the years, we've maintained the communities to try and look its best. People come in and it's like, this is a really nice place to live, the community looks great. We want to continue to do that, but by maintaining it, we've had less ongoing expense, because we haven't let things deteriorate, where it's down twice as much to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay,
Just for my purposes, I will take 3 numbers here, and I will put them in our,
Do you want me to email you an electronic copy?
yes,
yeah, that'd be
please,
great.
that would be awesome, and then I will put them in our format and resend that to you. And that will be what we will mail out as your proposed budget for your budget meeting, okay?
Okay. Back to you.
Thank you, Lenny, I appreciate it. Alright. This is now time for the open forum.
So, just so that everybody understands, in the past, we did the open forum at the beginning of the meeting, and you were able to ask questions about whatever the agenda items were. But you weren't informed about what we were gonna talk about until after we talked about it. And then we decided, okay, we'll move the forum to the end, but by then we had already made, motions. So what we've done is we've adjusted this so that we have the old business, the new business, the owners forum, so that we can get your feedback or your questions, concerns. And then after that, we'll go into, motions, by the board on the agenda items. And you want me to do this? Okay, so, everybody, well, let me put it this way. Each member has the right to speak for at least 3 minutes on each matter placed on the agenda.
Up to 3 minutes.
Hmm?
Up to 3 minutes.
Up to 3 minutes. And keep in mind, it's not per person, it's, if you're a couple, you're a homeowner.
Doesn't state that in the bylaws.
That's the way it is.
That doesn't stay in the bylaws.
720.
Oh, now all of a sudden you know the 720?
Always 720.
So we'll go with that. So keep in mind, it's agenda items only. We're not gonna interrupt you during your 3 minutes. We'll let you go ahead, and then, after the owners forum, if there's anything that we want to address, we can go ahead and do that. So if you could state your name, address, and then go ahead. All right?
Joe Gallagher, 4561 Barrister Drive. Financials. Lenny gave you financials report. You stated that the common area sidewalk grinding was to be categorized under maintenance, right?
The grinding piece would be maintenance, the replacement piece would be capital.
So homeowners have to maintain their sidewalks. Are they expected going forward that they will have to grind their sidewalks if it requires maintenance?
No,
Oh.
the rule is that,
So we're not gonna address any
You're
questions.
interrupting him.
It's about financials though. I'm just curious.
Excuse me. This is how we're
Lower
gonna
your
do it.
voice.
This is how
Lower
we're
your
gonna
voice.
do it.
You're on video, lower your voice.
I'm
This
just
is
asking
how
about
we're-
the financials.
I'm giving you 3 minutes, the owners forum,
Okay.
open forum. You've got 3 minutes to state what it is you want, but we're not gonna go back and forth
That's
with
fine.
questions and answers,
You
okay?
don't have to. Okay, so, again, I will reiterate, and if you don't wanna answer, you don't have to. But homeowners are required to maintain their sidewalks. So therefore, are they also required to grind their sidewalks? And I'm also asking, who's liable for that, the grinding and making changes? Because our insurance ends at the grass line. So if we make a change and someone gets injured on it, then who's gonna be liable, the HOA or the homeowner? Really, just define it. Define who is gonna grind the sidewalks. Secondly, ARC. Jack, you mentioned that the ARC is looking at the request, and you mentioned yourself and Margaret. Did we lose somebody? I see some that.
Mr. Medina communicated to me that he could not continue. He's a contractor.
Okay.
And he's moving his business from Texas to Florida. And he wanted to
That's
do
fine,
it.
that's fine. Are we
But then
asking,
he finally-
that's fine, I don't need the logistics,
Okay.
so Mr. Medina's not on it, right? Okay, great. Are we gonna ask the homeowner? You never mentioned in your ARC report
Well, I
about
only
asking
found out this
homeowners.
week, so I
But-
just got the confirmation today. No, I didn't mention it in the ARC report because we're putting together, we're trying to find people who are interested.
Great. And then regarding the budget, because I'm talking about agenda items. Last year, Lenny, you budgeted $57,000 for a landscaper. You then, at the beginning of the year, the board of directors decided to hire a new landscaper for $80,000. That put us over the budget by $23,000. So when you come to us, homeowners, and you say, well, you know, things are going up, you cause those things to go up. You hired the landscaper for $23,000 more. So, that's it. I have nothing else. I'm done. 226, by the way.
Next.
My name is Sue Cordova, I live at 2768 Kingston Ridge Drive. The survey that was sent out, I think it's very loaded. And the reason why I'm saying they're loaded questions is like the first one, I'm not opposed to the survey. I'm opposed to the wording of the questions. I think they need to be reworded. For example, the first one where it says keep the lights as they are, and experience an increase in monthly fees, and then it says about $7 to $10. But if you divide it out, the $35, $85, $99 minus $1,500, and then divide it by 169, it comes to $7.49 per home per year, not per month. So I think that question is very, very misleading, because it gives you the impression that you're gonna go up at least $10. And then to put words like, make our subdivision less safe for children, also sways how somebody might vote on something. So I think we need to, one, make sure that it gets to all the homeowners and not just some homeowners. And I think those questions need to be worded properly. And I also think we need to look at something different in there. For example, we own a vacant lot at the end of Majestic, you know, where the curb is in the back. We own that lot. We own a lot of common areas between homes, and we could actually put up solar panels. And solar panels in that lot alone, if you divide it out, would be enough to offset that there would be no increase in the homeowners association, and there would actually be a decrease in monthly cost to each individual homeowner on those bills. And the only other thing I wanna talk about, and since we're talking about budgeting, you know, under section 720, we can't stop a homeowner from having a business. However, if that business is causing an undue stress to our amenities, we can charge for that amenity cost. And here's what I'm gonna talk about. If you take, for example, that big gate strike that we had, I can't remember if it was last year or year before last, it's because a homeowner was running a daycare in their home. So let's just take this daycare and let's take an average number of kids, 7 kids. So that would be 7 kids dropped off in the morning, and then the car has to leave, and then picked up, and then the car has to leave. So that's 28 times that gate opens every day. You multiply it by 5, you get 240, you multiply it by the 52 weeks, and you get just over 12,400 times that gate opens for that business to run inside our subdivision. That's 12,400 times that we're gonna have to pay because of the usage of that gate. There is nothing in the law that states we cannot identify, and I'm all for people running businesses, I'm all for it. You know, especially like the contractors and those that aren't raising their rates, but if they're costing us money, let's charge them for the amenity cost alone.
Okay, we'll look into that. Next,
I want Angel Summer Lease 2698 Valiant Drive. I did not receive the email that went out regarding the survey. I did complete the survey because someone was kind enough to put it on the Facebook page, but otherwise I did not get it. I don't know whether or not it was sent to my husband, he's out of the country. But I personally did not get it.
okay,
Also about the budget, 144, wow, that's a lot of money. Can we cut, but, I mean, unpopular opinion, but Christmas lights, that's a lot of money on Christmas lights. Plus, you know, Seco, for that month that we put up the Christmas lights. And we've got people who apparently, you know, are behind on their dues, I've heard, I don't know, but how is that going to impact them when we're going from 119 to 144?
I totally agree with you.
I agree with you.
Because
Well, guys, one at a time.
okay,
Thank you.
Stacy. Next, Mike,
Mike Shaley, 2710 Valiant Drive. On the streetlights and the survey, I initially missed the survey and the email. All I saw was like the agenda for tonight's meeting. I would suggest the emails have more specific subjects. They all come out just saying Regency Hills Claremont Residents Association Inc. posts. Tell us that there's a survey in there. Tell us that there are board meeting agenda in there. Make it clear in the subject line. And you probably need to have those in separate emails, not just combine multiple posts into one email. I was also shocked and confused, like that the survey went to something called enumerate that I'd never heard of before, but apparently I knew my email address. So it's kind of like I had an account, but I didn't have an account. On the street lights itself and the cost, Seco's FAQ says that
They sent out a notice about the increase back in May 24. The first increase was October 24, increase back in May, another increase coming up in October. I assume the notice went out to the management company at the time. I'm concerned that the board was not made aware of it until they saw the increase in the bills. I'm wondering what we can do to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Was that management company Century?
I don't remember who was the management company in May or June of last year.
May 20?
It's still a valid point.
Yeah, no, it's a valid point, but yeah.
So,
Good point.
and on the ARC, one of the requests that was approved in the past month, I had a question about. The request was for a privacy fence and to remove part of, I guess it was part of like the HOA fence. And I was wondering why a homeowner was approved to remove an HOA fence. Maybe my understanding of the whole fence thing is wrong. I'd be happy to get a clarification.
Okay,
Okay.
we'll get that to you. Next.
Kathy Caffrey, 2729 Valley Drive. First off, the towing, I personally think that's a bad idea. If you've done your research and you had 10 companies that you tried to bring into the neighborhood and they all said they don't wanna come into HOAs, I think there's a reason for that. So I'm really concerned about the company that is being selected. And while I don't host a lot, I live towards the back of the neighborhood, so if I am hosting around the holidays, I have to ask my guests because it's dusk at 4:30. I'm gonna have to ask them to drive them and park up at the pool and shuttle them back and forth to my house, which I think is kind of crazy. But anyway, not crazy about the towing. As far as the budget goes, you know, 144 is expensive. I understand that there are going to be things that are gonna be naturally going up and things that happen that are out of our control. I get that. However, but we have things that add up, police at our meetings, sending out letters that are smearing the last board and the residents to all of the neighborhood. We don't know what the collections are going on in the neighborhood as far as gate strikes, ARC, you know, problems with houses that are, you know, I can't think of the word right now, but, you know, those types of things, past dues. I have no idea where we are on that in terms of if we're collecting those things to help reduce our costs. You know, the landscaping, there's no doubt, we were promised that it's gonna be so beautiful and they're gonna do such a great job. This new landscaping company has come in, they mow often in the retention ponds, which I don't find necessary. I live on a retention pond. The last time they went to go mow, they mowed half and stopped and left half of it mowed, the other half was not mowed for a couple weeks until they came back to remow. I don't know if the guy ran out of gas, I have no idea. But anything that we're gonna have to make our neighborhood more beautiful is going to cost us more money. The fact that the company suggested an arborist to come in and remove 6 or so trees, how much is that gonna cost us? And was there a second opinion? Because it's their arborist that's coming in and telling us that we need to remove these things. So while you say, Lenny, Lenny, I think you've done such a great job over the years and I appreciate all that you do, I think there is some fiscal responsibility that needs to be paid attention to a little bit closer. So again, I know you all, this is volunteer, I know it's a very thankless job, I do appreciate all you do. However, the things that have been adding up over this past year is really concerning, so thank you.
Okay, thanks, Kathy. Next.
Vincent Nemec, 4569 Battersea Drive. I have a question. It's all about agenda items, the ARC. All right, the timing on requests. I was very impressed in the beginning when Jack Sweeney took over as chairman about getting back to the homeowners, and it seems like there's a request out there, and it's pertaining to replanting bushes on an easement and above a gas line. All right, and I just would like to know if he's just gonna let the 30 days go by so it automatically gets approved because the homeowner is a friend of his. The second thing is, I'd also like to know what authority he thought he had by removing an amenity amenity of the HOAs. You're not allowed to approve to remove an amenity. The fence is a border, it was up by a developer, and you approved them to remove the amenity. All right, you can't do that. That changes the whole look of the community. That's number one. All right, next is the Seco Light Survey. That came out in 2024, and yes, we did have Century, but then they took over Access, and Access had it in June. Okay, so really, you're talking about 2 or 3 months, but it's totally ridiculous. Okay, and then it's also Light Survey. You should really be looking at the emails. There's a lot of people that didn't get their emails on this survey. So shame on the board for not sending out letters. If this is very important to the community and raising our dues, this should be sent out by mail. Because I know you have everybody's address. You should be writing that down. Okay, and the last thing is pretty much the budget. Before we raise the budget, Mr. Laney, how come we're not collecting the bad debt? Because I noticed that recently the person that owes us a lot of money hasn't been making their payments. Okay, we have over $30,000 in bad debt. I don't hear anybody on the board trying to collect that money. Why am I paying my dues on time and these people are slacking and not paying their dues, and then you're gonna raise our dues? Collect the bad debt first before, okay? That's on that one, and with your budget, it's the bad debt. I mean, this $25 raise. I mean, didn't we just resurface the tennis courts and the basketball courts? Why do we gotta repaint them? If there's cracks, then fix the cracks in the basketball courts, all right? There's nonsense about buying a new net for pickleball. Are we kidding me? I mean, I thought that was amenity, and it's in our amenities that we have 2 tennis courts. It said nothing about pickleballs. So you would have to take a vote throughout the community, okay? So, and my last question about the Seco, and this is to the management company. Aren't the lights an amenity in the community since we had them for 23 years, number one?
3 minutes.
Okay, and I'm not done, I'm gonna close it up. All right, where's my answer for that one, management company? Is it an amenity or is it not? Because you're on video.
You are more than welcome to send me an email and we can.
Oh,
have
that's
a
how you're gonna,
discussion.
okay, no problem, I'll make sure the neighborhood knows that.
That's my prerogative, thank you for your comments.
Anyone wants to talk to me about specific questions you ask me, be happy to talk to you.
Does anybody
I'm not
else?
gonna talk to you in private because you're a madman.
Is-
Huh?
Excuse
Beg
me.
your pardon?
He wants to talk, so I'm not gonna talk to him in private.
You just called one of the board members a madman?
Yeah, because he said, I'll be more than happy to talk to him, I called him a
Time
madman.
is up, Vinny, no more comments.
Then don't direct it to me then.
Any-
Next
Shut
agenda
up,
item,
Michael.
we're gonna
Shut
move
up.
on.
No, hang on.
This is
Hang
the
on.
way it's been for a year with Mr. Nemec and Mr. Dow.
Okay.
Do you wanna,
Way to go,
do you wanna
guys.
go next? Okay, go ahead, please, thank you.
I have some simple
Yeah, he
questions.
did. He
Okay.
called you out.
What's the address?
The lady, somebody that here.
He called you out.
Back there.
Time to call him out.
Yeah.
Get some lawsuits on these assholes.
2744 Kingston Ridge Drive.
Did you say 2744 Kingston?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. Like 3 meetings ago, I asked for a set of keys that I requested, online for the back gate. And until now, I haven't heard anything. That lady, what's her name? She said she was gonna look into it and then get back to me. Until now, I haven't heard anything. I pay my dues quarterly. I don't owe you anything, and since I moved into the community, I don't have a key for anything, not even to go to the pool.
Okay, so you put in a request,
Yes, I did.
and what's your name?
Val C. Williamson.
90 days ago.
Okay, we'll check on that.
Okay, and I'm not even gonna touch the budget because everybody's saying what I was thinking about. If we have anything go over, like the 144, you guys have to do something in the community. Because I know other HOA, people pay money and they get other stuff done. So, you know,
Go after the people who ain't paying.
And the people who not paying, I'm paying for them? You got to be kidding me.
Okay, anybody else?
Just a couple, Mike Lapis, 4500 Bear Street Drive. For clarification, when you have your 3 minutes, your question is the 3 minutes, but somebody's answering does not accumulate into the 3 minutes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. The towing situation, it's kind of sensitive to me. If somebody moves into the area that doesn't understand that their vehicles are gonna get towed, are they gonna get a grace period?
There's signage up.
I know, but sometimes you move in and you're deer in the headlights, just saying. So, it's a blanket statement. Do we have a chance to change electric companies? Can we go from Seco to Duke? No?
It's more expensive.
Well, that's not true. So I sent.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Go ahead. I sent, an example of Seco or a Duke electric bill of another community with an almost identical amount of lights. And they're a fraction of our utility bills compared to what Seco is charging. A third cheaper. So I sent that to you, Mike, and I sent that in July, and somehow the emails are just not working, but, I would love to further pursue some information. I had a guy who was gonna come out and explain to me the maintenance of these lights, but he wouldn't do it without your authorization. Because basically what they're saying is they're increasing their rates because of maintenance. And I wanted him to explain to me, where's all the maintenance? And they don't change the bulbs out to LED, they change the same bulb to the same bulb. They won't change the LEDs until they retrofit the whole community. And this is for Lenny. Don't we have investment money that's sitting there making money?
Yep.
Yeah? So why isn't that money being used to absorb some of our expenses that we are incurring instead of passing it along as we're gonna increase our dues?
I mean, first off, we're required to have a balanced budget,
Got it?
number one. Number two, the reserves there are for rainy day things that come up, emergencies, like when we had a sinkhole. Luckily, this is gonna be covered by insurance, but we don't know what else might come up.
I get that. But say we have a bad year. We have a bad year and our investments are doing great. So what's wrong with the investments break it even and they could kind of like contribute to some of our cost overruns?
Yeah, and to be honest, last year, we've had some of the overruns, since we used some of those dollars to pay for, because we didn't know that the increase was gonna be permanent when we did the budget. It was a question, it was just popping up when we were questioning it, so that did happen. And it was lucky that we had money, because when we had to lay out 30 grand up front, we had money that we could lay out. And the bad debt has nothing to do with that. All of the in arrears accounts are pursued actively, and has nothing to do with the change in the budget.
But we're making money.
Okay, we can't keep going back and forth.
Okay.
3 minutes.
But I would love to help out with this, with electric bill, if you guys will let me
Okay.
interact with that.
Appreciate it. Anybody else? Okay, a couple things. The landscapers that we had before the current ones were absolutely horrendous. I've had numerous homeowners tell me that they watched them pick up sticks that had fallen out of trees and just shove them into bushes instead of disposing of them or moving them or putting them somewhere else. So-
When they cleaned up the front entrance area, when they first took over, they took out between 50 and 56 45-gallon bags of trash, leaves. They found a couple of water bottles that were filled with urine and had been thrown in with the leaves back against the edges. So, you know, this was all left there by Florida professional landscapers. Behind our common area on Valiant Drive, there was between 12 and 16 trees, the majority of which were down because of storms, hadn't been removed, they were just mowing around them and stuff. And there were little things like that all through the community. In the pool area, the bushes, the shrubbery, they were blowing the leaves into the shrubs. They weren't raking them and picking them up. And in fact, after that hurricane that we had, when there was all sorts of debris, or the storm, whatever, I don't remember exactly, but there was a lot of debris in the pool area. They blew it all up into a big dirt pile right there at the entrance. Some of you who drive in the pool may remember seeing that big dirt pile that was there for weeks. They weren't doing their job. That was the reason, okay, that we had to look for a new landscaping company. They made a series of proposals about trying to improve the landscaping areas. We're not doing this fast. We're not trying to do it fast. We're doing it slowly. They've trimmed back trees over Greg Benge's house on Valiant Drive, the first house, because the branches were hanging over the trees, the branches were hanging over his house. And those trees are common area trees. And it was made clear to us, legal counsel, that we're responsible, the HOA, for making sure branches don't break in storms and land on a home. And then their homeowner insurance repairs the home, but then their homeowner insurance company sues the HOA to recover their money. The Mendoza family on the other side, Majestic Isle, the first house on the left, they have a bunch of branches hanging over their house that are gonna need to be trimmed back too. So this is not, you know, the goal is to beautify the front area as much as we can, but there's no drive here to incur all kinds of new expenses, re-landscaping and building stuff up. They produce some concept notions of what they say they could do for us, but we're not doing anything with that right now. We're just trying to get things back to us, a semblance of looking better than they've been looking for a long time. That's all.
Yeah, and one thing I'll comment about on that also, the arborist that made the recommendations for the tree removals is not an arborist with Yellowstone Landscaping. They're an independent arborist. And then lastly, the fence tear down. It wasn't a fence tear down. It was a replacement of a chain link fence with a privacy fence. And the chain link fence is tied into the privacy fence. And so don't try to make it sound like.
It's HOA property, Michael.
So.
And there's also large segments of that fence going around the
And we should
community
repair
that are damaged.
You guys had your 3 minutes.
Yep.
We're trying to answer some of the concerns.
Yeah, but you're asking with wrong answers. That's all I'm trying to state to you. I'm not arguing. I'm
Your
just
3
letting you
minutes
know.
are up, Vinny.
Okay.
Let's cut down a fence tonight.
Okay.
Fuck it, let's do it. What are they gonna do?
Your motions on agenda items.
Okay.
For the pressure washing.
Oh, okay. So I'll go ahead and make
I can't wait to go home and fix
a motion to approve the pressure washing for Platinum Exterior Services for $3,494.80, and that's the same cost that it was a year ago, and maybe even the year before that.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the next meeting is October 30th, 2025, in the same room, room 6, and adjournment is next.
Move the adjourn.
Jack, moving to adjourn at 8:04 p.m. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Third.
host, and the host is using this, and the host is using
Yeah.
it. I get all that software and all